to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulation.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Hello. Welcome, everybody, to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com with Mike and Jay. Shalom, Biggie. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I like your beanie.
Happy to be here with my beanie.
It's a nice beanie.
Thank you.
How are the roads out there? Are they shit?
No, they're fine.
Schools should be able to...
School's in.
School's in,
It
wow.
probably wouldn't
I'm
have been
shocked.
had they not called 20 days earlier in the year, but school is in today.
Okay, good. That's good news. Welcome to the show, everybody. A lot going on. We are waiting, eagerly awaiting a call from Jim Florentine, Mr. James Florentine. I think he's running a few minutes late. I thought he was going to be here right out of the gate to talk about his new book, Everybody is Awful.
Except you.
Except you. I love this book, man. I really did. It's
pretty good.
Yeah. Funny dude. You look at someone's career like that, it's like crank calls, a heavy metal music show, stand-up comedy, like movies.
He's having a good time.
Yeah. It's got to be fun, man. So we'll check in with him as soon as he is ready. Lots of other stuff, too. Malcolm Maddox.
Oh, Malcolm.
Oh,
all alleged, Mike. It's all alleged.
Yeah. Is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the second time we've been suspended?
Yeah, I think Malcolm was suspended in December as they looked over some issues reported to Human Resources over at WXYZ, Channel 7 in Detroit.
Yes, he's an anchor at Channel 7. Black guy. He reminds me when I look at him of that guy. Remember that chick that was the
jigaboo dancing?
Yes.
Totally.
Like,
She's got that look like shit.
Shit. That black guy that's when she's like doing the dance like a like a jigaboo dance. He's like, yeah, America, take my look in, bitch. Yeah, get used to this face, America. You're going to be seeing this smile a lot.
Yeah, I think they had similar little pencil mustaches,
Yeah.
Little smooth Billy D. Williams kind of look.
Exactly. He's known as a true Renaissance man, Jay.
Is that right?
That's how they describe him on the website.
What's he got going on, other than being an anchor?
Well, he's a Renaissance man, truly.
Meaning?
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means at all.
A painter, a poet, an actor, a thespian.
Maybe. I was hoping you would know. You're the smart one in the room. I was hoping you would know what a Renaissance man is.
I think that means that, those
Just
sorts
means you
of
do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what those things are. We'd have to
Could mean
find out.
myriad of things.
Oh, nicey.
Myriad things.
I know.
What about that? But it was close enough.
myriad
Good enough.
of things.
No, you don't say several of things. You say several things.
Oh, yeah. How would I have said that? Shit. How would I have said that? Just
myriad things.
Myriad
Okay.
things.
Okay.
I was giving him credit for even getting the word myriad in.
I know. It was nice. It was nice for him to drop a myriad. So yesterday, XYZ just yanked Maddox temporarily off the air.
Just grabbed him by that little pencil mustache.
Yeah,
and pulled him off the side.
Get over here. And so we've got a lawsuit filed by a former TV reporter who I don't watch so much local news, so I don't know a lot of these people. Tara Edwards.
Yeah, I guess I've sort of heard that name, maybe.
Yeah, she claims that he sexually harassed her for years. But
she looks harassable, right?
Sure, why not? I mean, as harassable as anyone else. Mm-hmm. And the station failed to adequately respond as she complained. And her attorney now, Feiger.
Oh, is it Feiger?
Yeah. As soon as you see $100 million lawsuit, it's like, oh, yeah, Feiger, sure. So he is saying that station executives, they're guilty of covering up the ongoing harassment because he was more important to them than the alleged victim, a female reporter. He's got to throw that in there.
Sure. That's what you want to be these days.
This entire horrible series of events was covered up, Feiger said, where he also discussed the $100 million federal civil rights lawsuit against the station. That would essentially...
Then he promptly handed it over to an associate.
Right.
And left the press conference.
$100 million, would that essentially end the reign of XYZ? Would we lose XYZ?
I think Channel 7 would just be blank in the morning.
Just white noise. That's all we'd get on the channel anymore. I mean, that would
say,
it all.
thanks to Mr. Feiger, we're
Yes.
no longer on the air.
Mr. Feiger's number is this. You can reach him at this number
Any complaints?
if you have any complaints about our white noise broadcast. So, the lawsuit. What did this guy do?
Allegedly.
Edwards was subject to raunchy behavior from Maddox that included frequently asking her to engage in deviant and perverse sex acts. I'm going to go through the list, Jay, and I'll see if you have a problem with any of these.
I think I have a standing objection.
Well,
Mike.
we don't know. I don't know. You did yesterday, but something could have hit you last night.
You know what standing means?
You know, but it's standing until it's sitting. And last night, it could have hit you like a light bulb. You go, you know what?
This isn't so
yes,
bad.
Yes. Slapping your coworker in the face with a dick is kind of hilarious. It's not that big a deal.
Okay, that didn't happen last night. So.
All right, well, I had to ask. I just wanted to ask. Now we've cleared that up, and you're standing still. So, yeah, bitch, come over here. Got to show you something real quick on this computer. She's like, oh, yeah, what is it? He's like, oh, it's work-related and shit. She's like, oh, let me see. It's like, oh, no, it's a sex video. Ah, tricked you. So you would trick her into watching sex videos. Who hasn't had fun doing that? Whatever. And he was like, oh, bitch, I got to show you something else. Come over here. This is work-related and shit. It's on my phone. Come here really quick. Okay. Let me just show you this.
Crazy.
She's like, yeah, what do you got? And he's like, yeah, check out my dick. Look at my dick. She's like, oh, Malcolm, I don't want to see your dick. And he's like, fine. You mind if I whiz on you and shit? Which I don't. You know, you don't know unless you ask.
There's no stupid questions.
That's right. I've heard that, Ethan. So apparently you can't ask a coworker if you can whiz on her. That's a problem too.
When have these overtures ever worked? You know, the whole surprise. Look at my dick pic. Like she's just going to drop her panties right there and jump aboard.
We somehow need to get through to men that women and men operate on a different level sexually. Men,
Really?
let me stress this again.
Explain this, Mike.
Men, as far as 99.999% of us go,
They need their penis to stroke to completion.
well, no, your dick is not the gift that you think it is to women. Most women are not like, ooh, I need, like, women operate on an emotional level, right? Jay,
That's what I'm
they need to connect with you on a level where a guy can be like, damn, bitch, come here, you want to suck my dick and shit? Like, that's how guys are. Guys are wired differently. And so I don't know when this has worked. It must work for some people. You know, just pulling. I can't imagine taking a picture of my dick, first off, and then, like, showing it to a girl, like, check it out. What do you think? I just can't.
yeah.
But Malcolm's got no problem with it. So she's bummed. She, you know, from my experience at XYZ, I want her to be the voice to help the voiceless. A lot of reporters say that. I don't know that that's possible with local news, but okay. So imagine how difficult it's been to have felt so helpless, hopeless, and voiceless in my own nightmare for so long.
Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel, has no voice.
That's true.
Tara Edwards and others like her can bring that Twiggy to life.
Yeah, and if you're looking for that perfect Super Bowl chili recipe, I mean, you know, they do give a voice to that. Chili gets a big voice now on local news.
Very true.
And if you're wondering how to do a proper squat, you know, why not have your weatherman teach you how to do it? Why not? Makes perfect sense. So anyway, Maddox, all I ever wanted was for Mr. Maddox to admit the vile, vicious, and nasty rumors were not true. Apparently he was spreading rumors about banging her and shit around the office. And those rumors linger to this day. People believe that's true. So among the allegations is that a spurned Maddox falsely told colleagues that, yeah, man, I was banging that bitch. We was on the road down in, where was we at? We was in West Palm Beach, Florida and shit. And I started banging her there, and everyone's like, cool.
Whoa, Malcolm.
Yeah. Hell yeah, bitch. I closed it.
Closed it.
XYZ sought to explain its version of events, stating, these are the facts. Early 2015, allegations about Mr. Maddox's workplace behavior came to light. We immediately conducted an investigation that found that he had, in fact, engaged in inappropriate communications with coworkers. He was immediately
Promoted to the morning show, right?
Well, he was 2 weeks no pay. We're not fucking around, Malcolm.
Didn't he, during this process, though, didn't he get a promotion to mornings?
Yeah, oh yeah. But first he had to do that whole 2 weeks unpaid. But he more than made up for it for the new salary that a morning salary would give you. So, female employee who voiced these concerns continued to work at XYZ. She was not fired or forced out. She left voluntarily in December 2016 for personal reasons. Feiger says she didn't want to leave. She had to leave. She couldn't put up with harassment anymore. Not a bad argument. So Maddox's harassing behavior was pervasive and occurred on a regular basis. Him telling her that he would, yeah, baby, I'm going to rock your fucking world. Who says that? Yeah, bitch, I'm going to rock your fucking world.
A guy who's holding a dick pic on his phone in front of her face.
Are you ready for that physical challenge of me rocking your fucking world? That's also what he said.
See that?
I always
that
feel like
gives
you gotta be
credibility to these allegations because it's such a douchey remark.
Yeah.
You know, and it could be so much worse. You could be, oh, I'm going to come on your face or something really
That'd
odious.
be better. Yeah.
You know, it'd be more drastic. But when it's like, I'm going to rock your world, it always seems to give more credibility to
Sorry, the quote was rock your fucking world.
rock your fucking world.
Yeah.
I always think like with
You ready for that physical challenge?
You know, that's so stupid and out there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, wow, man, I bet he really said that.
What were you saying?
just with statements like that, dude. And I know I'm not like a confident person, so I'm not talking about me. But like, dude, you better really be willing to. You better be able to deliver. Like, say she's into it, and you're like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
know.
rock your fucking like.
You better
Man,
rock
you
a
better be
world.
good.
You ready
dude.
for this
Like-
physical challenge and
like,
shit, bitch?
It better not just be her on top for 4 minutes,
Yeah, you
and
don't-
then you're done.
You don't want to be apologizing, bitch. I don't know what happened and shit. Give me 10 minutes. Let me retool and shit.
I just
Try
always
that
think
again.
about that.
I'll get your world rocked. Don't you worry. Just give me a
just-
few minutes.
I don't know. There must be people that are that confident, I suppose. But
He tried many times to kiss her on the face and mouth at work. That's a no-no, right? You don't want to kiss coworkers on the face and mouth, right? He sent notes to Edwards calling her, yeah, my little girl and shit, and told her she has never met anyone like me, and that extends further than you could possibly imagine. He's got a really, really high opinion of himself, doesn't
for
he?
a guy on Channel 7 local news, it's not even like.
Now, this might be my favorite, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this, honestly. So he's sitting at the anchor desk and shit. She's sitting there too, and he's like, "Bitch, take a look at this shit." And he pulls out from his phone a nude picture of another female colleague from XYZ. That's kind of cool, right?
Who is it? Who is it, Mike?
They didn't say, but you'd have to show that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's like, man, look what I got. It's a nude picture of Diana Lewis. Look at this spread shot of Diana Lewis and shit. I think you have to. That was while they were anchoring the weekend morning news. He repeatedly proposed sending Edwards pictures. Look, bitch, please allow me to send you a picture of my dick and shit. And and then he wanted her to look. I'm gonna send you a picture of my dick, and I'm gonna ask you to judge it on a scale of 1 to 10 and shit. We know it's a 10. Now just take a look. And then when she was not biting for that, that's when he tricked her. And he's like, yeah, I gotta show you this work email and shit on my phone. She's like, oh yeah, cool, let me see it. Yeah, there you go, bitch. There's my dick. Check it out. Beautiful, ain't it? 1 to 10. It's a 10. Go ahead. It's a 10. She says, Maddox. She told Maddox she was repulsed by these actions. He responded with a text. I was hoping you would have liked what you saw if you got a good look-see. I wasn't expecting your ass to be repulsed.
Perfect. She has texts.
Oh, yeah. It's like, does she have the dick pic, though?
I don't know, Mike.
Yeah. Anyway, so I don't think this is going to end well for him. In Detroit. Probably make a comeback, though, right?
Sure.
Survive that.
Love to give second chances. We're Americans, Mike.
Yeah, plus, dude, I mean, at this point, I think the three of us are the last three guys in the country who have not sent dick pics to our colleagues. So, I mean...
Jesus, if I find
If
one dick pic.
Oh, yeah, Isis has sent dick pics, but not to colleagues.
Not to colleagues, though.
Hey, Hamlin Pubs, they're inviting you to their 5 Metro Detroit locations. Come enjoy Hamlin Pub's great food, drinks, and atmosphere. Whether you're watching the game with your buddies, out for a meal with the family, or out for an evening with your girl. It's always a great time at their Rochester, Clarkston, Chesterfield, and 2 Shelby Township locations. Don't forget, 25 Mile and Van Dyke, Saturday, March 17th, 7 to 11 a.m. TDC listeners get free breakfast with Isis over there for St. Patty's Day. And even
Hell
if you
yeah.
can't make it for breakfast, come on out that day. Isis will be hanging all day.
Yeah. I never thought I would say it, Jay, that I fucking hate someone who was involved in a school shooting, one of the victims. And I hate David Hogg.
Yeah,
I just... How do I hate a 17-year-old student I've never met? But I do. I find myself really hating David Hogg.
You can judge him on his actions.
Yeah. Can I? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I feel like we're watching right now, like, oh, this is the start of his campaign.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
Political
totally.
life.
Yes.
Yeah. This
He
is
has
the
an
start.
agenda.
can somebody please get some dick pics of Hogg? Let's
Hogg's
make this
Hogg.
submission. We need damning evidence against Hogg to thwart the coming campaign.
Yeah, because the lack of lips hasn't stopped him.
Yeah, and he just sounds kind of a fucking asshole. I'm sorry. I don't know if you saw him on over the weekend on Bill Maher, Real Time with Bill Maher.
I heard he said that he hung up on the White House, right?
Yeah, we have that video of him bragging, and then that's followed by another student from the school who
no, that's productive.
yeah, who's fucking pissed, and I don't blame him. He's like, really, fucking president calls you to try to work something out and maybe do something, and you treat him like that and then brag about it on national TV, dude. And I agree with that kid. That kid is Kyle Kashev. He's a junior. So go ahead, E.
Play David Hogg, who has been out there a lot. He's become, sort of very familiar to Americans. Here he is speaking out for on his side. Watch this.
I actually hung up on the White House the other day. They actually called me the day before the listening session and asked if we were going to come, and I said, I'm not coming because we expect President Trump to come to the CNN town hall. And I ended on this message with them. I said, President Trump, we don't need to listen to President Trump. President Trump needs to listen to the screams of the children and the screams of this nation.
What do you think about that, Kyle?
I'm really trying to control my anger at what he said. Because, the president calls you and it shows he wants to make a change, and you're talking about bipartisan change, and the one man who controls, who leads our nation, comes to you and is like, look, well, let's do something, let's make it happen, and you hang up the phone on him. That's so hypocritical. David Hogg was like, we have to make a change, let's make this happen, and then the White House calls you and it was like, let's do it, I totally agree, let's make the change, and then you hang up on him and then you brag about it on national television. It's extremely counterproductive.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well put.
Yeah.
Dude, this got to be so annoying to have this dude, Hogg, step up as your representative. Right?
He speaks for the school now.
Sure.
How did he pass that
Any
chick?
and all gun victims he speaks for.
Yes. Dude, he just trounced on Emma Gonzalez. Emma Gonzalez, we call BS.
She was bald and everything. I mean, she had it all going
Chick,
on.
bald, feminist, calling BS.
Another white male taking the spot from a female.
Yeah, right. Another privileged white male, probably straight, that piece of shit.
Maybe.
Son of a bitch likes tits.
Yeah, the Mr. Trump turned down the request to go to the CNN town hall. Good move. The CNN town hall was a joke.
It was a setup, Mike.
It was way more productive what went on at the White House. I don't care how much you hate Donald Trump. That was way more productive. The conversation that went on in the White House. Period. 17-year-old previously vowed Hogg, I am not returning to school until there is new gun control measure that's passed.
Oh, so you're not going back to school, huh?
I'm just like, yeah, do you really think anyone gives a fuck, dude? Like, really? Does anyone give a shit?
We got to get Hogg back in school.
Oh, my God. Wait, he's what? Hunger strike would be okay, but Hogg not returning to high school? This is an outrage. We need laws passed now.
That's awesome, dude.
No one cares, Hogg.
Just some kid, some high school kid that nobody knew 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever. I won't be going back to school. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, great. What are you guys doing for lunch? We were talking about Hogg. He's not going back to school. Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
What are you guys doing this weekend? Seriously. Like, no one gives a shit. What a shame that would be, though. He is a 17-year-old senior. What does he only have, a couple months left?
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? I mean, to stand on this
To not
now,
get his degree.
Having to go get that GED.
Man, that's a pain in the ass.
It's all about education. He really needs that. He's going to get ahead. Speaking of the president, we've got porn star Stormy Daniels, who I'm starting to really, really hate, too.
Why, Mike?
She's gross. She's fucking gross. I'm sorry. Those tits bother me. I just see this big blonde-headed idiot fucking walking out with these giant torpedo tits that are fake, and I'm like, ugh.
So 93, isn't it, Mike?
Well, it just goes to the credibility of the president. I mean, it's like, dude, what are you doing? You can buy any piece of ass. You can pick a whore, pay her. What are you doing with this moron? You know, if you're going to buy a piece of... Look,
Oh, God.
Yeah. He must just love fake tits. One of those guys. I just love fake. The bigger, the better.
No matter what, no matter how.
So she's now suing.
She's suing. She's trying to get a declaration that her confidentiality agreement does not stand. It's unenforceable.
What do you think? If it's not... The argument is that, hey, we signed this non-disclosure and Trump didn't sign it, so it doesn't stand. Is that
It was signed by the other party, though, and I think I have to look at it closely, but there was some mention that it was like or the language of it obligated her to that other company as opposed to him. It was like an and/or type situation, so it might be technically that it's enforceable, but
So you mean like the fact that Trump didn't, but Michael Cohen did?
yeah,
would have been good enough.
Did Michael Cohen sign it, or did some representative of an LLC, whether it's Cohen or not, somebody signed it on behalf of this LLC?
Right.
And the LLC is who went and, her side is claiming was just this straw entity set up to block David Dennison, who, by the way, was his pseudonym throughout this agreement. David Dennison was Trump.
David Dennison. Yep.
And so I think ultimately where this goes is it probably ends up being a campaign finance problem for Cohen, for sure, and possibly for the Trump campaign because, an individual has, I think, a $5,400 limit as to what you can give to a candidate. And the larger, this wasn't a political action committee situation.
So paying off pieces of ass counts against the
question is it a campaign contribution? Well, the argument would be, you're trying to support the campaign by silencing this chick. Yeah. The thing that bothers me is all this, these sexy headlines like, ooh, hush, it was hush money and all this shit. Mm-hmm. Dude, you know as well as I do, NDAs, they abound out there. Confidentiality is purchased all the time.
Yeah.
So this is nothing out of the ordinary.
Wouldn't she have to give the money back, though?
Every person that's done work in this place has signed an NDA, some sort of a disclosure, non-disclosure agreement for things that you might hear in here that's not publicly available stuff. We gotta protect ourselves.
It's proprietary.
Yeah.
She might. That's a good question, Isis.
Because then if she's saying,
hold on.
What?
Isis asked a good. I didn't hear
130 grand she made off this.
Yeah.
So they're claiming in the lawsuit this wasn't an enforceable contract, but they're just saying, despite that he had no obligation to do so, Cohen paid her.
Yeah, that's what he says. Out of my own pocket.
I mean, if she had no intention to ever keep the promises therein, maybe they could claim that she fraudulently got those funds and go after that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, dude, she stands to make a lot more is the point, and that's the reason they're willing to try to break this thing is they're thinking, well, she can go write a book or do a big interview and make $1 million.
It's funny that
the problem is, dude, she's already given her story, and everybody knows the story.
Yes.
And
everyone knows already. But that's a good point because I was wondering that. I'm like, who gives a shit about the non-disclosure at this point? The story's out there. Her friends have talked. She's hinted. We know there was a payment and a signed piece of paper. You don't make payment of 130 grand and have parties sign this unless you're shutting her up for something.
That's why I'm saying that this thing may be most useful in the campaign finance context.
Well, what you just said about, her doing future interviews for money about it where technically she still can't talk about it. If this is binding.
Right. So they're trying to get a declaration that's not binding.
Right. Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, dude, everyone already knows. Who cares? Well, that makes sense. That if they can technically get it broken, then she can do the dumb $100,000 interview with People magazine.
She won't be liable for money, and nobody can enjoin her from talking to somebody.
Right. What was Trump's name again?
David Dennison.
What was the other?
It was Peggy Peterson and David Dennison, who are named as the two players in the confidentiality agreement. But
so Stormy was Peggy?
Yeah.
Okay.
She signed it as Peggy Peterson. Well, she signed it as herself, but also known as AKA Peggy Peterson.
Yeah. Why do they do that? Just to,
well, in case the confidentiality agreement is produced somewhere, they had a side letter that explained who they were and their part. And in fact, the copy of the side letter that her lawyer filed with the complaint had Donald J. Trump redacted from it.
Really?
So you still don't see his name in there, but it's commonly understood that it's him.
Like, I don't give a shit that he banged this girl at all. I just question his taste.
Yeah.
More than anything, I'm really, really disappointed in his taste.
Wow, he's possibly an adulterer and bangs porn chicks. Like, who didn't assume that?
How bad would that suck, though? If you're Melania, because you can't walk out of the White House. I mean, I suppose you could, but you're just stuck. And you saw the icy things where it's like he tries to hold her hand or something. It's like, yeah, get out of here, you.
I thought that was explained away. That was a protocol situation.
Oh, was it?
When you're within the eye shot of other dignitaries, you don't hold hands. I thought that's what that was about.
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, dude, their relationship has to be totally fucked. That's
Yeah.
It appears to me from just an outsider looking at. She's just trying to take care of her possibly autistic son,
Baron.
the best she can.
Yeah.
And she's probably like a lot of these wives of rich dudes, where she knows that shit's going on, and it's just part of the deal.
It's not that bad of a deal, though. Honestly, seriously. I mean, because it's not about love. Look at Donald. Donald Trump is a goofy-looking dude. I mean, the hair alone says you cannot get a 10 for a girlfriend. You know what I mean?
No, if what you care about is being taken care of, it's not that bad of a deal.
Yeah.
You're the first lady of the United States. You're married to a billionaire.
Yeah, and being married to a billionaire is the thing. And it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, just as a sidebar, he's probably going to fuck, skanks on the side, but you're still married to a billionaire. So, it's not a bad deal.
Unless you're not about that, then it might be a bad deal.
Yeah,
we don't know her. So I can't say it's a bad deal or not. I suspect most of these wives and those type level husbands, you just kind of know. You're the wife of a rock star. You just kind of know.
You're not willing to go out on a limb and say that woman, all things being equal, if he was just Donald J. Simpson walking down the street.
I don't know, Mike. I have no idea what
I'm
going to
go out on a limb and say that girl probably would not date that guy had he not been the Trump name with the billions of dollars. Crazy.
I'm unwilling to say that she completely thinks it's a great deal because I don't know her. But apparently you can say that.
I can say that. I want to be clear.
Because you know a guy who knows Ryan Seacrest.
That's right. I'm on record. Ex-Trump aide, Sam Noonberg. He's contemplating possibly seeking treatment for alcohol abuse while still denying that he was drinking. So why the need for alcohol abuse? I'm a little bit worried about me, he told the Daily News. I'll talk more about it next week. I finally watched a lot more of his interviews around the country, as he was bouncing around. That was brutal. I don't know how much of that you actually watched. But
no, I don't.
It was...
I heard he was completely inconsistent and weird, so...
Yeah.
That's the story, right?
And I don't know, I thought there were rules in media, and maybe that shit's out the window, but I thought there were rules about putting intoxicated people on the air. Like when Aaron Burnett said, I smell alcohol in your breath, and there were rumors of alcohol throughout the day. Maybe it's just, outrageous to think that, someone working for a 24-hour news show would do that and go, no, I'm not having him on the air. It's irresponsible. They want the flashy headline and the soundbite. So I almost can't blame her for doing that. And it was a newsworthy story, but yeah, that was pretty fucking bad. I mean, and his story changed so much, and it just I don't know. It was weird, but now he's trying to get over this. I got carried away, but declined to confirm whether or not he was drunk on these TV interviews, and says, yeah, being booted off the Trump campaign, that really, I wasn't very good after that. That really hurt a lot. And it's like, God, these guys sound like such pussies. You know what I mean? I mean, dude, people get fired. He's like, oh, yeah, I just wasn't in a good place after that. I thought I was his friend, and then I got used and blah. And I'm like,
dude, I don't know what you... I mean, how can you just... I don't know. I don't know where the guy's in his life when he gets fired. Maybe he's got 50 other things going on. Maybe he's just a pussy.
He says leaving the campaign left wounds that take a long time to heal. I was very close to Donald. I was heavily invested in the campaign. I wasn't very good after getting fired.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got an issue.
Clearly.
Or two, or three.
Apparently we'll hear more about it next week when he goes to wherever he's going to go for his alcohol, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, I think finally Jim Florentine
Very good.
is available. Everybody is Awful is the book. If you like this show, you'll like the book. Trust me. Forward by Jim Norton. So let's, if you're ready, let's pull him up.
Hi, it's Jim Florentine.
Hey, Jim Florentine. There's that voice. How are you, man? It's Mike and Jay with the Detroit
Good. I'm
Cast.
sorry I'm running late. I've been doing this whole phone tour this morning. Everything's been backed up.
No problem, Jim.
It's because people like the book, man. Everything is awful except you. I hope it's doing well for you.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's out there. People are digging it, so, you know, it's good.
Well, it's nice anytime someone can take it to Facebookers.
Oh,
I just
hate it.
I just love it.
Look, there's so much material on Facebook, you know, with everybody either bragging, looking for attention or sympathy. And I just basically, these are actually Facebook posts from real people, and I put them in my book, and I basically just break down what they're really saying.
And you categorize them really nicely, but do you personally have one that just drives you crazy?
There's a lot of women on there that want to tell everyone what a great mom they are. Just came back from the park with my kid. Yeah, well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, any amateur psychologist can see what the person's doing, right? As they brag and try to portray their life as perfect. Like, why don't we, as, quote, friends of them, really call them out more?
Well, because everybody, so I know, God forbid you do, they get all bent out of shape. Because they're looking for all positive reinforcement. They're looking for positive comments. So if some lady posts a picture of a ravioli that she cooked, you're supposed to tell you how amazing she is. Oh, my God, that's saved me a piece. Now I'm hungry. Let me have that recipe. Oh, my God, you're an amazing cook. And then if someone goes, that looks horrible, they'll cry.
Yeah. The other ones I love, Jim, are the, you get the automatic notification that it's some idiot's birthday, and 400 people have to write, Happy B-Day, Happy Birthday, Aw, Happy Birthday, Happy. None of them have anything important to say or any memory of, the three-way we had on your 20th birthday. It's all just garbage.
Yeah, I know. It's, 9 million people saying the same thing, with balloons. Exploding and stuff like that. It's like, all right. But that's, and then if you don't do it, they're going to go, I wonder why, Dave didn't wish me happy birthday. Everybody else did.
The other one,
now you're caught up in this nonsense. Like it's when people check in on Facebook. Hey, I'm at a Leonard Skinner concert. It's amazing. And then you get these comments. Oh man, I would have went. I'm home by myself. I wish somebody would have invited me. And now you got to deal with that guy.
Yeah, I love the ones too that, all of a sudden some guy's got to start the day with a prayer, and it's just some quote, some psalm from the Bible. And, and it's like, and people are actually commenting on it. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, the inspirational quotes, I know, they're all over. I'm like, my theory is if these inspirational quotes, you see them everywhere, any social media you go on, you see them. How come everybody isn't doing really well?
Right, Jim.
If you're reading them and you're going, awesome, I love it, oh my God, amazing. I'm like, wait, the woman that just posted that was just, telling me she's going to leave her husband and she hates her life the night before.
Exactly. It's a highlight reel.
It doesn't sound like this woman is living, laughing, and loving.
Yeah, it is a highlight reel, and it's so fraudulent. It's just so fake. It's the other ones that drove us nuts were, we got to the point a couple years ago where it's just like thoughts and prayers and all that shit. Because thoughts and prayers, or putting the homo flag colors over your picture, or the whatever nation just got terrorized, putting their flag colors over your thing to show you really care. There's
nobody with thoughts and prayers. This is thoughts and prayers. Oh my God, did you hear the neighbor down the street, or her family got in a car accident, her mother and father, and they died. Oh my God, that's terrible. I know. How old were they? I think like 65. Oh man. Hey, what do you want for takeout? I don't know. I'll try pizza. You want pizza? Yeah. Can we get a sub too? Okay. And that's it. So there's no thoughts and prayers.
Of course not.
Well, we obviously know where you stand on Facebook today, but be honest, Jim, was there a day where you had a legit account and you were working that account? You yourself?
No, I do. I do have a Facebook. As a comic, or if you're in a show business, it's great. It's a free promotional tool, which is amazing to reach people for free. So, no, I have a Facebook page. I have Instagram. I have Twitter. I have all of that stuff. I don't like it. I don't really participate in it. I don't engage with people. I don't care about comments or anything like that. But I post my gigs and anything that I got going on.
It's the only thing it's good for.
It's great for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is the only thing it's good for. We use it the same way, and it's, we all of us, the three of us here on the phone, like, we didn't grow up with it our whole lives. and so we know what life is like without it, and so we don't feel the need to. It's more of an annoyance. It's something you have to do for work. We have to plug our show. You have to plug your comedy stuff, and you know, it is what it is. It comes with the territory.
It's everybody competing, because if they see somebody that's posting a lot of stuff and it gets a lot of likes and comments, then somebody else feel like, oh, man, I got to start doing that because they're getting all this attention. And then they start doing it, and they're not getting enough, and they're trying to – everyone's just trying to outcompete each other. It's like, who cares? Like, if you go on Facebook or any social media for 2 weeks, you are missing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing. The other thing we love about your book, Jim, is your career is crazy. I mean, there's sports stuff, there's music stuff, there's obviously comedy and movies. But the crank calls that you got started early in your career, and I love it because I think so many of us guys that were like this when we were young, that we you know, this is our first, I don't know, foray into comedy, was grabbing a phone line and just fucking with people. And, you know, it's nice to see that you and Tony got off to as weak of a start as all of us did with your call to Big Titties Donna.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, look, I was always I went to Catholic school, so I was always a troublemaker because I didn't like being in there. So I was always, you know, my parents would make me stay in. I was grounded. So I would just make prank phone calls when I was a kid. So I was honing my craft. As you know, who would have known I would have been on a TV show and made a career out of it later on in life? Well,
it's funny because you called this girl at school, and it was just like, you know, you got her phone number, and you called Donna, who's just a girl that developed early, and it was just like, yeah, what size bra are you wearing? And then it's you had no follow up to that, and so it's kind of a disaster. She calls you out at school. Jay did a similar prank, and I want to see what your opinion is of his technique. He had a character named Scotty McGregor.
This is embarrassing, man, because I'm talking to one of the masters here. So to even approach this subject, it hurts me. But basically, we'd get him engaged with just a dumb little kid rambling. You know, we'd call him, "Hi, Scotty McGregor," and we'd just try to, "Oh, what are you doing?" And the 38-year-old white lady would have us on the phone, and then we'd hit him in the head with an anvil. We'd just go, "I'll show you my penis." And then they just incredulously, you know, either just slam the phone or ask for our mother and this and that.
Yeah.
I mean, does it have any legs at all, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, me calling a woman up that, you know, a girl in my class in 7th grade go, hey, this is we're taking a national survey. What's your bra size? You know, or we call, you know, my friend. We just call them. If a lady answer, we go, how big are your? Well, I can't say. How big are your breasts? You know what I mean? Like that. Is that inventive? Is that, you know? That's really, you didn't think I was going anywhere with that stuff either.
How long did it take you to get good at doing that stuff?
I don't know. You know, I've always been good at messing with people, you know, keeping a straight face. Like, I've always had that poker face, so I don't know. You know, and then when I started messing around with telemarketers, that was just a thing where, you know, I was doing stand-up at night, and I was bored during the day because I didn't have any shows. I didn't have anything going on until, you know, 9 o'clock at night when I had a stand-up show. So I would just, if the telemarketer called, I'd try to keep him on the phone as long as possible.
Yeah.
It just morphed into that, like, you know, because they were thinking, like, there's no way this guy's messing with me. Obviously, you know, usually you get, you know, every person that they call, like, hey, get off the phone, don't ever call here again, lose my number, you know, and then I'm on the phone with them, like, wow, this guy might actually buy something, and they would put up with my nonsense.
Yeah, and it got pretty carried away for some of yours, but
who
do you think were the best to do it? I mean, obviously you heard the Jerky Boys. I don't know if you're familiar with Tom Mabe. He was kind of doing the telemarketer thing like you, or Red at the Tube Bar. I mean, who do you think are the best to do it?
No, the Tube Bar stuff was phenomenal.
Awesome.
I love that, man. When they're calling that guy, and that guy's so cranky. And I know I grew up in Jersey, so it was in Jersey City, Bayonne area, like a little old man bar.
Yeah.
So no, that stuff was amazing. So no, I wasn't actually a huge prank phone call fan growing up. I mean, I knew the Jerky Boys and stuff like that, but then, you know, I started going back and listening to that stuff, and then the Tube Bar guy was phenomenal.
Yeah. By the way, Jim, you can say anything you want. We're a podcast. You can swear or whatever if you're
okay. I wasn't sure.
If you're so inclined.
Yeah. It sounds like you were holding back a couple times. Go ahead and say anything you want.
Yeah, you don't normally say breasts, I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, that call was like, how big are your tits?
There we go.
That's better. Ooh, that's the Florentine I know and love. Much better. You know, and that morphs, and it's kind of a long story. You know, you start recording the telemarketer things with Jameson, and I think Jameson, your buddy, knows, I don't know, Stearns, Garrett Delabate, and you end up getting in that circle, and that led to Crank Yankers. Do you even think Crank Yankers could even air today in this climate we're in?
Probably not, unless it was on like YouTube where no one cares, you know. But no, in this day and age, there's no way. Thank God I got it in. You know, we did it back in from 2002 to 2007.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely no network would have that on. Even I remember when the show came out, because Special Ed, the character I did with the helmet, they what they usually do with a new TV series is they give the critics like the reviewers like the first 3 episodes, and they made sure that Special Ed wasn't in the first 3 episodes. They were afraid they might get flack in the reviews.
Yeah.
So they put him in the 4th episode.
But that blew up, and I mean the yay! Like everybody knew that, and I mean that thing exploded. But I just can't imagine you could have the retard helmet on a puppet nowadays.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel certainly wouldn't be a force behind a show like that anymore, would he?
Well, you know, when you're hosting the Oscars, you probably can't be connected to that anymore.
Are you bummed?
I got a son that's 7 years old, and there's this show, SML videos or whatever on YouTube, and there's a character called Jeffy who's basically Special Ed, and he's like this retarded guy. He's got a pencil in his nose. He looks just like Special Ed. And every kid watches it. Like, they put out videos once a week. Like 10 million kids watch it.
Yep, I've seen him.
Really?
Jeffy. Yep.
Yeah. So on YouTube you could put it on, but you know, who knows? They'll probably take that down since they're censoring people on YouTube now.
Mm-hmm. Hey, are you bummed out to see how Jimmy Kimmel's changed? How vanilla he is, more PC.
Well, I mean, look. I mean, it's tough to do like man show skit at the Oscars.
Yeah.
You know, so, look, the guy's a good dude. He helped my career, and he's always been nice to me. So,
yeah.
You know, some people just change over the years. The comedy changed or whatever. You know, it all depends.
Yeah, it kind of bums me out a little bit. I sort of understand it, but I struggle with it because we had him in studio when he came to Detroit to do the Super Bowl. And I absolutely loved him. He couldn't have been cooler. He hung out with everybody. He was a great interview. You know, his band was amazing. I mean, and he was one of us. He was one of our guys. He'd made it, but he was really one of us. And so it's like, oh, I miss that guy. I want that guy around, you know.
But we get it.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, the 03 MTV Movie Awards when Eminem, that had to blow your mind when Eminem started doing Special Ed on as an acceptance speech, huh?
Absolutely, man. I remember because the show, the Crank Yankers was only on for 1 season, and we weren't sure if it was going to get picked up. And then we found out that Eminem, through the grapevine, was a fan. We're like, really? Wow, that's cool. Because the show was on nobody's radar at all. And then, like a week later, the MTV Movie Awards airs, and he does a whole Special Ed invitation when he gets his award. And I'm sitting home watching it. I'm like, I cannot believe this. and it's funny because nobody knew what it was. And I remember the next day, I'm like, Extra and Entertainment Tonight. They're like, what was Eminem doing at the award show last night? And they were showing a clip. Like, is that just like a joke to one of his friends back in Detroit?
Because he's doing it, yay! Like, what's wrong with Eminem? But that led to you actually came to Detroit. Well, you almost didn't come to Detroit because you got stopped at the airport. But yeah, you ended up coming to Detroit and hanging out with Eminem. That had to be awesome.
It was amazing. You know what I mean? Just to do prank calls with the guy. And he was such a big fan of mine. Like, he knew all my prank calls because I had a bunch of telemarketer CDs out. He knew every one. He knew a word for word. He's asking me how this call went, that call. And then we did the MTV Music Awards the following year together, and then I did some other stuff with him. I was in one of his videos, with the Crank Yankers puppet. So, I spent some time with the guy, and he was a really, really good dude.
Is he decent at crank calls? Because I think he used to crank call you then after that, and I think you worked for hours with him doing them. Is he pretty good?
Yeah, he is good, man, because, he used to do it on his old CDs, back in the day before he really hit big. He put a lot of prank calls on there, so he loved doing prank calls. He was great. And it was just cool. We were just calling random numbers, and we're just riffing, me and him, back and forth. I'm like, I can't believe I'm creating with Eminem. This is insane.
Yeah, that's got to be mind-blowing, man.
I'd love to hear the lost tapes from that day. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Hey, man, your book includes some spot-on observations about weddings as well, including absurdity of tuxes and organized dances, cash bars, vows, the focus on the cake, etc. What's your in your mind, the single worst aspect of a wedding, though?
Oh, that's tough.
Destination weddings?
Oh, yeah, well, that's the worst, the destination wedding.
Yeah.
Like I say, for anyone if you plan a destination wedding, you're a cunt. That's basically it. There's no other way around it. You know, you're going to make everybody else go to a fucking island because you're spoiled and you want to get married on the beach. Go get married on the beach and come back and have a fucking party at a VFW hall.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Why
Yes.
you got to put pressure on everybody else? And now the guy, you know, the girl's getting married. Her best friend is telling her boyfriend, we got to go.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to St. Martin. I got to be there. She's my best friend. Now this guy's got to fucking lay out $8,000 between, you know, plane tickets, fucking hotel rooms on the beach,
Linen pants.
you know, tuxes, all this other bullshit, because she decides to have a destination wedding.
Oh, it's so selfish.
You include a discussion about disposable cameras at weddings that really resonated with me.
And me.
Probably because my friends, including Mike here, did that exact thing with them. Describe the problem that always arose back in the day of having those stupid cameras, those disposable cameras
I
sitting
miss
out
them
for
so
guests.
much. I miss them so much.
They were the best because any wedding we went to, especially in your 20s, like mid to late 20s, a lot of your friends get married about that time, so they'd always have the disposable cameras on the table. So we'd go, as soon as we got there, we saw the cameras. Me and my friends would go right in the bathroom, would take pictures of our asses, our penises, take a shit, take a picture of that, everything, fucking our balls.
Yes.
And then just put the camera back on the table. And they wouldn't develop them until like 2 weeks later.
Yep.
Oh, we did that to Jay at his wedding.
Exactly happened to me. My mother-in-law developed the film. She gave us like 5 rolls of film. We were supposed to have like 25 of them. She never said a word.
Yeah.
Just handed over 5.
I remember I was at, I don't know if it was yours, but I remember being there at one wedding, and I go into the bathroom, and one of my buddies, Ellerholtz, is in the bathroom. He's got his pants down, and his legs are up over his head, and he's taking a picture of his asshole. I'm like, what are you doing, man? He's like, I don't know, they left a camera on the table. What else am I supposed to do? I was like, no, that's awesome, great. And so it's nice to see that we weren't the only ones that immediately did that when we saw those cameras.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your advice for a guy who wants to get out of being a best man in a wedding, Jim?
I say in the book, I say, just make up something. Just tell your friends, say, hey, look, I just want to let you know I banged your fiance like a month ago. You know, we were drunk. She came on to me.
That'll work.
Hey, a couple things off topic, because there's so much in your career that I'm a fan of. But as we were prepping, Jim, I was listening to some old interviews. I love the shit you did with O&A and obviously your old roommate Norton. And is it true that you picked up a chick who thought you were Bon Jovi, like John Bon Jovi?
Yeah, it was down. Down the Jersey Shore. We're at a club. Me and my brothers were on a family vacation. This was Bon Jovi. He was probably like, you know, right when he was breaking, maybe right when the Slippery When Wet album came out. So it was right when You Gave Love a Bad Name, a Bad Medicine, I think, or some shit.
Yeah.
And I had long hair, long blonde hair, and I was at the bar, and my brothers were just hanging out, and this girl was near them, and he overheard her and said, "Is that Bon Jovi at the bar?" And my brothers, you know, they're fucking ball busters. They go, "Yeah, it's him." They go, "That's Bon Jovi." He goes, "Yeah, he's down here. We're his friends. You know, we've known him since high school, and we came down just to get away for a little bit." She goes, "You think I could say hi to him?" And they're like, "All right, if you want." She went over and thought I was Bon Jovi. I wound up making out with her in the parking lot. It was fucking great.
Who are you to step on her dreams, man?
The other one that I love too was a story about a girl walked up to you at a bar and called you and was like, "Hey, aren't you so and so?" And it wasn't you, but you were just like, "Fuck it, let's see where this goes."
Yeah, it was a stripper. It was in Canada, and she goes, we were in a strip club. We were going to a wedding in a little bit, me and this other comic, and we were hanging out in the strip club, and the stripper comes up. She goes, "Curtis," and I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Curtis from Winnipeg?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "You remember me?" And I'm like, she goes, "You don't remember me." I'm like, "Well, you did something different with your hair. That's always a good one to go with."
Yeah.
You know, because it could be from the day before they did something different.
Yeah, right.
And she goes, "Well, yeah, I used to be a blonde, but I'm now." I go, "Okay, yeah." And she goes, "You seriously, you remember?" I go, "I'm pretty sure, but the hair." And she goes to my friend, "Do you realize what this guy did?" And he goes, "No, tell me." I go, "Yeah, you tell the story, because I don't know what the fuck she's going to say."
Yeah, right.
And she goes, "He played in a band. I went to see his band in a blizzard in Winnipeg. And we hooked up after the show. We went back to his apartment. We had sex, and then he made me walk home in a blizzard, like 3 miles."
Oh, Curtis.
And I never heard from her again. And that sounds like something I would do.
It does. You sure?
And I just go, "Sorry." I go, "Look, I was going through a lot then." You know what I mean? I go, "You know, I had." I go, I had an ex-girlfriend. I didn't know she was going to come over, and she was a psycho, and I didn't want to come over. If you would have been there, we weren't going out, but she might have stabbed both of us. Who knows? So when I go, I was just at a, it was a rebound. I shouldn't have done it. 10 minutes later, I'm making out with her. It was beautiful.
Oh, dude, that's so awesome. So awesome. You're in the comedy game, obviously, stand-up comedy, and a great, successful career. What do you think of the current state of comedy? And as a massive fan of stand-up comedy, I go, and we've got a guy here, Eric, that does stand-up himself, and there is so, like, we go and see up-and-comers at clubs, and there are so many people that are towing these PC lines, even on stage. It's disgusting, and I'm wondering if you're seeing any young, edgy up-and-comers, the next Patrice O'Neal out there, or Carlin, or these guys that carry that torch for the next generation, because I'm not seeing them yet.
No, I don't really see too many young up-and-coming comics. There's some funny guys out there, but look, this is the generation they grew up in, so that's all they know. You know what I mean? So they don't know, if there's an edgy guy. I mean, maybe if they did a little, maybe if they did a little, research or something like that. But the one thing I could say is it really hasn't changed anything in stand-up in the clubs. People are not walking out. People are not getting more offended than they were before. None of that's going on. So still in the comedy clubs, you can pretty much say what you want, and no one's really getting offended. It hasn't. I thought it would. I always ask the club owners when I get into town, are you getting more complaints? Like, nope. They go, in this area is that people can do research on every comic that's on the show. Everybody has a comic clip out there, and they can look to see if it's their style of comedy before they go out. And people are super uptight and, PC, don't want to go to a comedy club because they're offended by everything.
Right.
So they just stay out of there. So it really hasn't affected the stand-up clubs. But, yeah, as far as stand-up now, yeah, I mean, they can't, say the word fag because they're like, oh, I'm not allowed to say that. But, like, my generation, we were allowed to say it, and we use that in punchlines. So, we're not going to be offended if someone does say it, like where they would be like, oh, my God, you should never say that word.
Yeah. Was comedy something that when you first started, Jim, you found easy to do? Was it hard for you? Were you good right out of the gate?
No, I wasn't good, but I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And, I met some guys that were already headlining. And when I first started, that took me on the road with them to open for them. Because I took a lot. So I was getting a lot of stage time early on. I wasn't good, but I was working it, pretty much like 4 or 5 nights a week right off the bat. For like $10 or $25, it didn't matter, but I was working on getting better.
Hey, Jim, shifting gears back to the book, and a subject you hit pretty hard in the book is man caves. There's some
homo forts.
Pretty strong opinions as to whether those are warranted or not. Explain that.
No, they're not. Well, that's, a man cave is for a guy that has no control over his relationship, and he lets his wife take over 97% of the house, and meanwhile he's paying the mortgage. It doesn't sound fair. She gives him a little room downstairs where he's sequestered. It was almost like when they were a little kid. Mom gave you a little playroom to go play, throw the Play-Doh against the wall, just keep it in here, make a wreck in here, but nowhere else. Okay, Mommy. And then these guys get older, and they marry their moms. They go, can I have a little room where I can go put my bobbleheads up?
I think that's...
Even though I'm a 42-year-old man.
That's so right on. I never heard anybody explain the man cave phenomenon like that, but our dads didn't have them, right? This is a generational thing.
No, they worked out in the garage.
Yeah.
They build shit in the garage or whatever. Listened to the radio, had a couple of beers, worked on the car, built something, and then they'd come in. If there was a game on, they would just say, I'm going to watch it in the living room.
Right. They didn't escape.
Think about this. Think about if a woman made all the money in the relationship, right? Or most of it. She was out making most of the money. So, and it was her house. She bought the house with her money and everything else. And then the guy takes over 97% of the house, and she has a little room downstairs where she can go hang out in. Wouldn't her girlfriends go, wait a minute, how did that happen?
Yes.
That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird that you paid for it's your house, you paid for, you pay all the bills, and then you got a little room downstairs. That's the only room where you can hang out and be yourself.
But she can put her Barbies up and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you let this man do this to you? This isn't fair. This isn't right.
And somehow they've manipulated you into thinking, like, you've won somehow because you've got your little space.
Yeah, like, okay, you can have that room. Like, oh, my God, I'm so happy she gave me a little room.
My man cave.
Jim, I laughed so hard when the man cave stuff started, and you were like, as I call them, homo forts. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, I don't like to use the word homo, but it fits. It's a homo fort.
And Jay, I think my partner here has the same theory of you on adult men wearing other adult men's football jerseys.
Oh yeah, I mean that's not an original thought on that. A lot of people have that problem with other adult men like wearing a Dick Butkus jersey or whatever. Like, dude, why are you wearing another man's name on your back?
Or if they get their own name put on the back
Yes,
of like of number 7 on the Steelers.
Yeah,
like you're not Roethlisberger.
Right.
The only pass I give you is if your kid. You're going to like a Dolphin game. You and your kid are Dolphin fans, and he wants you to wear a Dolphin jersey just like him. I always give a pass when kids are involved.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know if you've got a couple more minutes, Jim. Are you running out of time here, bud?
No, I got a few more minutes.
Okay. I wanted to talk, the other angle in your life and career is music. Music was a huge part of you growing up. It was the same for me when I found hard rock, heavy metal. It changed my life. But I didn't get my own, I didn't get a show on VH1 like you and Jameson and Eddie Trunk. I'm wondering how did that come to be? Like Eddie Trunk, I mean, he's been a rock and roll DJ forever, but you and Jameson were comics, and now here you guys are hosting that metal show on VH1. Yeah, well,
Eddie was already working for VH1 at the time. He was doing a regular interview show, just a one-on-one interview, and we were friends already. We'd do his radio show, his heavy metal radio show in New York. And he said, I got a connection at VH1. I'm going to see if I can pitch him a talk show, like a heavy metal talk show, like the Tonight Show for AC/DC fans with us 3 hosting it. We're like, okay. And he already had the in at the network. And they decided to, give us some money to shoot one episode. And they liked it. And, we were on for 7 years after that.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, do you think that will make a comeback, that show? I think it went off the air in 2015, and VH1 keeps it alive now. I mean, you can still see it. But do you think you guys would still do that, wouldn't you?
We would do it in a second, but there's no more VH1 Classic. The channel actually went away.
Oh, it did.
They got rid of the channel.
Oh,
and
okay.
They own this show, the TV show too. So unless some other network wants to buy it and pay VH1 money for that, our show, I don't see it coming back. But you never know.
Well, I don't know if you heard Eddie Trunk's show on Monday. He had Jameson was there, and they were like, we got a 2/3 reunion of that metal show. And it sounded like Eddie Trunk was really working hard behind the scenes to maybe try to bring that thing back.
Well, there's always, look, I mean, there's only so many options where you could take a show. You know what I mean? Like, so there's only so many networks where they would go, okay, yeah, this show fits, and I think it'll be good. We were on a little shitty channel that they left us alone, VH1 Classic. Where we're the only original programming, so they would shoot an episode and show it like 50 times because they had nothing else playing on a network.
YouTube, man.
It's a real, specific show for a small genre of people. You know what I mean? Like, if we were on, like Spike TV after a UFC fight, a big UFC fight, and we had, the bass player in Warrant as our guest, people go, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Who's that pretty guy?
We're not, we wouldn't go on after American Idol on Fox.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And have, the drummer and Doc in.
Yeah, but it's not like it was a shitload of money to put that show on. It was a pretty simple set, a pretty simple thing. And I don't know, I liked it. As a fan of that era, I liked it a lot. And I wanted to ask you because I fucking got all the circus magazines and Rip and, all those as a kid. And I studied my liner notes and I knew a ton of stuff. But I'm always shocked at how much more you guys knew about, the 3 bass players that played on this rare offbeat album. How much research went into that, and how much of that was just like you guys really just knew your stuff?
No, we just knew our stuff. We grew up, basically, into music and reading the back of the album and the liner notes and knowing all this stuff. It was just, we thought it was just useless for information. Like, why do we care? But, little did we know that was going to come back. Like, that was my whole childhood, just stay in my room, making prank calls, and reading the back of, AC/DC Powerage record and who produced it and who was in the band at the time and all that other shit.
Yeah. I did the same thing, but I couldn't have hosted one of those shows as well as you guys did, man. Well, I hope it comes back. Jim, you've been awesome with your time, man. We really appreciate it. We've enjoyed the shit out of the book, and people, I think our listeners will enjoy it, too. It's called Everybody is Awful Except You. It's got a great foreword by Jim Norton. And it's Jim Florentine, man. Thank you for the time, Jim. We'd love to do it again.
Thanks, Jim.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on.
For sure.
Peters.
I got mail! Yay! I got mail! Yay!
Okay.
I got mail! 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 Yay!
And thanks for laughing at the character, not get offended, because I get a lot of shit because we're in such politically correct times these days, because the puppet I do the voice for wears a helmet, and people freak out, you know what I mean? This guy had to show up about a month ago. He's yelling at me. He's like, hey, man, you make fun of handicapped people. I'm like, relax, dude. It's a fucking puppet show. It's a prank call. He's like, well, I have a mentally challenged daughter. I go, I'm sorry to hear that, man. And he doesn't know what to say. He goes, yeah, well, hope you have a retarded daughter one day. Yeah, that's the guy says. I go, I hope so, too. I don't have to pay for a wedding. Look, I look at the bright side of things. I'll save 20 grand, you know? I want to get married. Yeah, you're married. Don't worry. Just get over there. Fucking. I support the handicap. I do. I dated a girl who's in a wheelchair. It got a little weird at the end. We broke up. She started stalking me, you know? I don't know what to do, so I just moved to the 3rd floor. She was lazy anyway. She just sat on her ass all day. I'm like, get up and do something already, will you? God damn, I gotta open the door for you again? People really freak out, man. It's a friggin' puppet. It's not even real. I was doing a college up in Buffalo, New York, like 6 months ago. It was a private Catholic school. They were going to protest a comedy show because of the picture of me with the puppet hanging up in the school. And I guess one of the professors teaches special ed students on the side. She goes, I'm going to show up at his comedy show, put all my special ed students in the front 2 rows of his show. So I get there, the guy that booked me that's flipping out. She goes, you're going to bring all the kids, they're going to sit right in the front. I'm like, good, they laugh at anything.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. continues now, bitches. Here are Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast. Powered by DealsInTheD.com with Mike and Jay. And we just got done with Jim Florentine. Once a comic hears another comic on the show, they get pissed and they want to join the conversation too.
Yeah.
And look at that. Chris Newberg calls in. Jay, you there? Chris?
I'm here.
Newberg?
You got bummed when you heard Florentine on the show, didn't you?
Wait, say that again?
I said you got bummed when you heard Florentine on the show, didn't you?
Yeah, I was bummed.
Had to try to muscle your way in. That's good. You're in you're in town this week, right?
I am. I get there tomorrow.
Excellent.
Excellent. O'Mara's in Berkeley. I'm excited, man. And you've got, oh boy, Big E opening the show for you.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be super awesome.
It's going to be fun because I love the idea of you watching his performance and then calling us and giving a fair and honest critique of what you think of his comedian skills.
That's the key. We need a fair, honest critique.
Yeah.
Not just like blowing smoke. Got to be fair.
No, I'm excited. I remember him before. I remember him being funny. He's like super neurotic, which is the key to comedy.
Awkward as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got all the tools.
Well, I'm about to throw a wrench into tomorrow's show and fluster E more than before, but I was thinking about coming out to the show, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to go out there alone. And so I'm like, oh. So I texted McCarty, and I was like, hey, dude, you want to go see fucking Big E open for J. Chris Newberg tomorrow night doing stand-up? And he's like, fuck yes.
Who, Darren McCarty?
Yeah, Darren McCarty. He's like, fuck yes.
He's going to come?
Yeah. He's gonna come with me. And so he wants to see you and see Big E. And he goes, make sure you tell Chris to have E wash his hands before he touches the microphone. And I said, fair enough. And I said, for real, dude, you want to go out there? He goes, yes, but he has to promise to wash his hand. That's the deal. And I said, all right, I'm gonna let people know that you and I are gonna be out there. And he's like, yeah, cool. As long as he washes his hands, I'm cool. So E, did I just ruin your night?
I don't know. Whatever. It's fine.
E does not perform well under pressure.
That's not true. I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I disagree with that.
Oh, I don't know. Senior year cross country. What happened?
Pro period runner.
Okay. One thing from 15 years ago.
What were you gonna say, Chris?
I mean, like, I think that what you should do is, like, in addition to making him wash his hands, I should probably, like, bring some wet naps on stage and, like, go over the mic afterwards just in case he didn't.
I would.
Slowly, like for 5 minutes. Just slowly wipe everything down. Stage, everywhere you stood. Yeah. Anyway.
I think that'll be that'll be cool.
Yeah. It should be a fun night, man. I'm excited. And again, you can get tickets now. I should have the number here. I don't, but...
O'Mara's in Berkeley.
O'Mara's in Berkeley, yeah. Look it up.
Yeah, it's 248-399-6750.
He's right, it is.
There you go. Perfect. And I'm assuming tickets are still available, right?
There's some tickets still available. I love the trick when people are like, hurry, get tickets fast, when there's like a bunch left. But there's a bunch of tickets sold, and there's still tickets left, so and you can always get them at the door.
Hey, wanted to ask you, dude, you've been doing a podcast lately.
Yes, it's so hard. You guys do this every day. I don't understand it. It's like it takes me like an hour to prepare for one episode a week, and
an hour.
You guys it does. It literally does, because it's like I try to think of like weird questions to ask people, and because like you guys have 2 or 3 people on the show, and I just have me and 2 guests who are usually like people who've never done podcasts before, and sometimes like you would think the conversation is going to be cool, but sometimes people. I mean, what do you guys do when guests suck?
Yeah, you blow them out as fast as you can. It depends who it is. If they're a big, like Jay and I had to pull a few teeth with Scott Ian from Anthrax the other day. We talked to him, and we had him for a half hour. By the end, he was our boy. But in the beginning, it was like they don't know if they're going on some wacky boarding zoo or guys that are friendly fire or what.
Yeah, but phone calls are different. Chris is talking about people he has in studio who he knows. He's seen him do stand-up, or he's seen him do it, in a band or something like that. He's like, all right, that person would be interesting. Then they get behind the mic and they just suck. That's what you're describing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, you know what? Honesty is your best bet. And you go, guys, I got to tell you, You guys kind of suck right now.
Kind of sucking. You got to bring it, man.
My name is on this, so unless you guys fucking bring something for real in the next couple minutes, we're just going to shut this shit down.
And that's the beauty of it. You can shut it down and not post it, right?
Yeah.
It's really bad.
I mean, that seems super baller. I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
But it's
I've
like,
done it to Jay a few times.
Yeah, there's lost episodes of the Detroit Cast. You have no idea.
Could you imagine? Jay, listen. Look, listen. If you don't start fucking bringing it, sir, I'm not going to put my name on this. We're canceling this episode.
And I plead and I cry and I weep.
Please, I'll try harder. I'll
Mr.
be
Walters.
funnier. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh, that's funny because everybody out here is so, like, freaking. Oh wait, I can swear, can I?
Yeah.
I can.
Yep.
Everyone out here is so fucking sensitive, and so like, it's like, it's just you have to be so PC out here because everyone is so millennial and so safe and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like you get all the criers and the hurt feelings and it's just weird because it's like there's no longer like I miss Michigan so much because. It's fucking awesome. It's like Michigan's like you just deal with it. Out here, it's like, well, you can't. It's like you can't say that, and it's like fuck off.
Yeah,
it's a challenge.
You know what? I think you just go. You know what? I'm going to be me, and whatever other people think, fuck them.
Yeah, bring
whatever.
Michigan to them. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, one thing I like that you do, Chris, is that you ask your guests to describe physically what they look like. It's pretty interesting what some of the people come up with.
Yeah, that's random. Yeah, that is random. It's like because it's like when you have to come, like you can't think of anything because immediately whenever someone says, "What do you look like?" you immediately go to self-deprecation.
Yeah. Although some people do go, well, I'm kind of like a mix between Jennifer Lawrence and and you're like, come on, no, you're not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's such a strange place. Like I just want to I want to hit 2 movies, be huge, and then move back and then do the thing where to do the Jeff Daniels thing.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Dude, that's a really funny concept, asking people to describe what they look like. That's funny as shit.
Yeah, and I heard you, Chris, I think you described yourself one time as sort of like a crumpled up ham sandwich, which,
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's good.
No, I think I said if ham salad were a human.
Yeah, ham salad. Sorta, yeah. I see it.
The other thing we wanted to ask you about is last time you were here, we had a very, very excited guest that was with you because you had just gotten
Daniel.
Yeah, you had just gotten the news that you had sold a show, and this kid flipped the fuck out. And so, have you guys made the show? Are we millionaires now? What's the deal?
No, but here's the funny one. Okay, so here's the thing. So here's what happened. So Paramount was like, we like this concept for this show. We pitched this show originally. It was just like this survival challenge thing whatsoever. And like in the room, they were like, is it on Mars? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And so they're like, we love it. So they're like, we want you guys to make a pilot, or we want you guys to make a deck, actually, which is like just like a book concept of what the show is. So Paramount gives us $20,000, and they're like, we want you to do this book, and then we're going to go from there. So we're like, okay, cool. So we, in turn, have to hire a production company, a gigantic production company called ITV, to do the book, who, of course, charges us $20,000 to do this, like, fucking book. And then we finish the book, and the book is fantastic, and it's cool, and then Paramount's like, Mars isn't cool anymore. We're going to pass.
Oh,
so it's like, but it was that simple. But for like 3 weeks, it's kind of like buying a lottery ticket and not knowing when the drawing is going to be for a month. Because you get to think about, when you buy the lottery ticket, you're like, oh, cool, what if I win for 5 seconds and you pay the $1 to rent that? It was the same thing with this. But, no, Daniel's doing great, though. He just sold another show to Mila Kunis's company. So he's got a show in development at Sony, right? Oh, so that kid's going to be fine. Plus, he's got good hair.
Yeah,
he is. He's beautiful.
Yeah, he's a good-looking young man. And Mila Kunis, holy shit, I love her. Beautiful.
Yeah, she's spectacular. He was telling me his story. He's like, it was the weirdest thing. She was yelling at me on the phone. I couldn't decide if I should laugh that I'm being yelled at by the chick on that 70s show, or if it was the coolest thing ever.
It's the coolest thing ever.
It was the coolest thing ever.
Hell yeah. Hell yes. Well,
yeah.
Chris, thank you for popping on really quick. We've got to wrap this show up here for the day, but I will see you Big E tomorrow at O'Mara's in Berkeley. Hopefully people can come out and join us. And Darren McCarty, too. So you guys got to bring it hard tomorrow. You don't want to look like a fool in front of a 4-time Stanley Cup champion.
God, that's so awesome. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Eric, bring it tomorrow, dude, because I'm gonna have to follow you.
Try.
All right, Chris. We'll see you tomorrow, bud. Thanks for calling in.
All right. See you guys.
See you, dude.
See ya, bye.
Bye. Oh God, you actually liked his podcast. You've listened to it a little bit.
He's a really creative dude.
Yeah, he is. You know what I like? Like, there are so many people doing it, and it's hard to stand out. And he's quirky.
Yes.
And so that will help him.
He's
for sure
experimenting like crazy. You know, you're not going to hear as polished a show as ours, Mike.
Well,
but you know, rarely do you.
Yeah.
But he's willing to experiment, and like I said, he has tons of different guests on, and some of them work better than others, as he's experienced.
That is hard, dude. When you sit down with someone and they just don't have it. That's tough. Go ahead.
You know who has it, Mike? Who? Our buddy Merck. Your investment plan should be created just for you, says Merck. However, developing and maintaining a financial plan can be a bit of a balancing act. So Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial can deliver the guidance needed to develop a well-balanced investment plan. Call Merck today. Tell him you're a friend of the show for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation, 248-626-2000, and ask for our buddy Merck. He will help you out.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Hey, just one final thought on Jim Florentine. TDC Bookstore contains his book at this very moment.
Yes.
That's under the Help the Show tab at DetroitCast.com. So if you're interested in that book, please buy it through our bookstore because it goes through our Amazon link.
Absolutely. You can listen to the interview there shortly, or is that already up too?
It's already up. And,
awesome.
dude, if you like grievances, essentially it's a book of grievances.
You're right. It is. It's basically grievances. It's great. Yeah, I really think listeners of our show will get a kick out of it. So go do that. Did you see Tommy Lee?
Yeah.
Got his ass kicked by his kid.
You know, his son's 21, so it's not like, you know, it's a 5-year-old or something. But
Pam and him, he had twin boys, I believe, Brandon, and I can't remember what the other one's name is. But I always think of them as these little tots.
Like
and it's
frozen in time.
Yeah. It's like, see a picture of him in a tabloid with his 2-year-old kid, you know, wearing Motley Crue T-shirt or something. And it's like 21-year-old Brandon kicking his ass. It's like, what?
Shit, I thought Brandon Lee got killed on the set of The Crow.
That one did. This is a different Brandon Lee.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So anyway, I guess it was Monday night, depending on who you believe. I'm shocked that Tommy would say something, though, publicly, like on Instagram or whatever it was.
Well, he's being accused of being drunk and beating up the kid, right?
Yeah,
so
self-defense.
Yeah, so he came back and I think posted a picture of his swollen face at one point, but he's since deleted it.
Yes, he said, my fiance and I were in bed when my son busted in the room and assaulted me.
Oh, he's affianced.
Yeah. Hot chick, too. Young, beautiful, shocking.
Crazy. Just written in the stars.
Oh, just kids falling in love. Kids falling in love.
55 to a 31-year-old.
You can't deny lovey.
Oh, when it comes, when you get that arrow shot into your back, it is what it is.
That damned Cupid.
I hope I can make enough money to find true love someday. That's my goal.
Could you imagine if Tommy Lee just sauntered out with some 50-year-old pig of a woman?
Frumpy, gross chick.
I don't know, man. The arrow hit me in the back when she crossed, and it was like, dude, it just happened. But no, it never does.
It's a 21-year-old model or some shit.
So, anyways, he was in bed with his fiance.
She's a Vine star.
How much older than Brandon is she?
I mean, like I said, 55 to 31.
Oh,
so.
31, okay.
I asked him to leave the house, and he knocked me unconscious. Oof. It's quite a right hook on Brandon. Really. He ran away from the police. That's the truth, Tommy says. And you're right, he tweeted that with a picture of his fat lip and then pulled the picture down. So, let's see. Sources told TMZ that Tommy was drunk and Brandon swung in self-defense. Lee did go to the hospital briefly. The cops showed up. No one was arrested. Tommy also said, my heart's broken. You can give your kids everything they could ever want in their entire lives, and they can still turn against you. Tommy, maybe that's the problem.
Yeah. There she is. Just in love.
Yeah. 2 kids.
True love.
Look at these 2 kids. Yeah.
Here's also his fiance.
Well.
Yeah, she'll look good in the sex swing, right?
Yeah.
Above the piano,
with that
isn't it?
enormous crank inside of her.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God.
Isn't that what Pam would do? Like, he had his grand piano in a room, and he was working on the song that he wrote for Brandon and the other one, and Pam would swing nude on the sex swing above the piano.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Dude, imagine that lifestyle. I'm working on a new song for our twins. Oh, hold on. Let me get nude and hop in the sex swing so I can give you some inspiration.
It's the same piano I wrote, of course, the hook of Home Sweet Home on. Dun, 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 dun. Was that the simplest, dumbest little hook ever?
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be anything more than that.
I know, but then he's got to come from behind his set to sit down at the piano and play this. Like anybody could fucking play that shit. Isis could play that with 10 minutes of training. Isis? Challenge?
I don't
Home Sweet
know
Home
the song, so.
Oh my god.
Doesn't even know the song. Isis. Think about your
I'm
kids
on
too.
my way. I'm on my way. Home sweet home.
I've never heard this.
Tonight, I'm on my way. Come on, Isis.
I'm sorry.
Jeez.
How do you not know Home Sweet? Come on, man.
Means nothing to you?
Never heard it. I'm sorry.
Video is great. I still want the unedited footage where I know that chick's tits are on display.
Oh, really?
When she's like on that, she's standing there, she's like, yeah, and this
Oh,
guy
right.
reaches behind her
Oh,
and
yeah.
pulls her shirt up.
And then they cut away right at the.
You see under boob, like half under boob, and then they cut to Tommy
I think
Lee.
that may be where I fell in love with underboob.
Yeah, it's a great shot, dude.
Might have been my first experience with underboob.
Sure,
honestly.
sure. See if you can find that image from that video.
Glories of underboob.
Oh, underboob is
Disclosed to my 11-year-old self.
Dude, and I know we've had this discussion. We've
Side boob, underboob.
Side boob, underboob, and
it's like 6 or half a dozen. I mean,
6 to 1.
Dude, I can't even. I don't even remember what I picked last time.
Yeah, I don't either.
Probably side boob, because that is very, very hot. But God, underboob's hot. Too.
Underboob is the shit. It's got to be the right boob.
It's so close. I mean, it's hard to pick one.
It is. See if you can find it there, E. Imagine though, like, hey, Dad, tell me the story about when you wrote this song about us. And it's like, all right, was at the piano, right? Shirtless, of course. Your mom, butt ass naked on our sex swing, flying back and to and fro across the room, and the kid's just like, ugh, I hate my own song now. You know, like if my dad told me that story, like, hey, you wrote a poem about me. What was that about? All right. Have a seat, son. I'll tell you all about it. So your mom, spread leg, laying on the...
Dime sizers, full display. Mike, we have some email.
Hold on.
I don't know where it is in the movie, so I just have to watch. I mean...
It's coming up now. I know this video so well, I can tell you it's coming right up. So just...
Tonight.
Get ready, boys.
Keeps me together
at the seams. Right here.
Oh!
Bang!
Of course the original footage has nips in it.
Next time we talk to a crew member, we are asking, where is the original footage from the Home Sweet Home video? I need to see that girl's full titty. Please. Tommy's like, oh, dude, I know. We watched it forever. It's gross. You don't
fuck
trust
that
me.
chick.
We got
Twice that night.
We got the best we could out of that titty shot. The rest is a disaster.
Maybe.
Just
those big pizza nipples.
Did you hear really quick before we get to email?
Yes, I heard about this. The saw attack.
This is the exact reason that I choose not to go running. It's moments like this that terrify me so much, of some guy grabbing me and dragging me into the woods and then sawing my legs off.
Is this witchcraftery? This is happening in what, Nigeria? Somewhere in Africa.
Yeah. South African triathlete. And they're like, no motive has been established. I'm like, they didn't want him to compete, would be my guess, right?
Maybe, or it's witchcraftery. Maybe they're blind and they think it's albinism.
Maybe, but, well, could you confuse that guy for...
No, you couldn't.
No.
The assailant has to be blind.
See, a blind assailant is going to struggle to cut this guy's legs off. I'm just telling you. I'm thinking this is today's level of Tanya Harding.
Holy shit, man.
You know what I mean? It's
Tanya Harding times 20.
Yeah.
No, it's actually going to cut the leg off.
We're not just going to cap the knee. We're taking the fucking legs off.
Why me?
Oh, they drag him to the side of the road to some bushes. Malengi Gwala. He's out for a bike ride.
It's one of the best.
3 men approach him.
I love Gwala.
They thought he was, he thinks they're coming to rob him. He's like, here's my wallet, phone.
Just getting it out of his yeah, here you go. Here you go,
my
fellas.
bike. And they're like, nah, we'd rather have your legs. Sorry.
They drag him into the bushes by the side of the road and start to cut off his legs.
They take a saw out and just start.
I mean, if it was one guy, you'd be like, okay, crazy dude, like fucking weird, right? But it's 3 dudes.
3 dudes.
Yeah.
Have they done this before? Is this the first time? Is this a dry run at taking legs?
Maybe.
The attackers sawed into his right leg, damaging muscle, nerve, and bone. They missed a main artery, and surgeons are confident they can save the leg.
I would far rather be the African man who was milked for semen.
I would rather be him, too.
Remember him?
Yeah, the hot chicks in the BMW.
Hot chicks.
Yeah, remember
That's where we found out that Mike would need would like a shot so he could get hard faster.
I knew he would remember that.
Of course. This is such bullshit. This is such bullshit. This has been played on me. Here was okay. Bag up, bag up. This guy is like hitches a ride.
Bag up.
Hitches a ride. Hot chicks pull up in a BMW. He's walking down the road minding his own damn business. They drag him into the car. They like drug him, drag him into the car, and then at gunpoint they make him jack off because they want his cum. And I'm like, this is the greatest hijacking ever.
Yeah.
And then they had some magic potion that they were like
an elixir.
Yeah, and they were able to like sprinkle it on his dong.
And
as
Mike
soon as
was
he
like,
came.
"Yeah, I want that."
And it was just like he had no time to relax. As soon as he went limp, they were like magic elixir, bloop, and he was fucking rock again. And they're like, jack it off again. He's like, all right, cool. Jack comes, and he's like, oh, finally I'm done.
Magic
they're like,
elixir.
Magic elixir. Whoop.
It's like 6 times.
Rock. Jack. And he almost pulled his own dong off.
Yeah.
And all I said
was raw.
All I said was, boy, I want a little bit of that magic elixir. That sounds pretty sweet, you
Yeah,
know?
and E and I looked at each other like, why would you need that?
And I was like, I don't need that.
Sure, but he'd
wouldn't
love
you
to have it.
Wouldn't it be nice to retool instantly and be fucking rock
Yeah, it
again?
is.
Instead of like waiting 15 minutes to retool, that awkward period where
Yeah,
like,
it is.
just give it a minute, hon, it'll be back.
It is, righty?
Just give me a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Every time I masturbate, I'm able to do it within minutes. Again.
I know, but why wait minutes when you can wait seconds? It's like, oh man, honey, just give me a second. This is embarrassing. Give me 10 minutes, I'll be fine.
No, I know
And then
what
it's
you
like, hold on, I lean over, open my drawer on the sly, dip my fingers in a little magic elixir. Pew.
Yeah,
Rock!
I get it.
Fucking rock!
We have some email, Mike.
What we got?
Hey, if you want to write into the show, send us your thoughts to email@detroitcast.com. Makes a lot of sense, right?
It does.
Email us there.
And if you've got any of this magic elixir, send it our way too. Love to try that.
Don't sleep on our friends Zott, Ford, and Holly, Mike. They're conducting their amazing Key for Key event. Exchange your current vehicle for a brand new Ford without spending a dime out of pocket. Zott Ford will assist you in terminating the remainder of your loan or your lease, no matter what you owe. Say straight Key for Key exchange. Give them the keys to your vehicle. They'll give you the keys to a brand new Ford. Plus, Zott Ford will make your first payment, so hurry. This is a limited time event. Mike, I'm going to be doing just that very soon.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to go for the Transit.
Bob Walters.
Look at these fucking Transits, man. I got to think. I think it was Jim who sent me all these pictures of cool-ass Transits.
That looks like the ATM van. You can't afford that.
Yeah, you can share that.
Okay.
I mean, that's like a tactical vehicle,
Dude,
Mike.
you can't afford that. That thing's souped up.
You don't know
like
what
a
I can
motherfucker.
afford.
I do know what you can afford.
Yeah,
It ain't that.
Sort of, dude.
That thing looks bad as shit.
Or I could get it wrapped in TDC wrap. Look at that. What if I did that?
I kind of like the Quigley wrap. Can you go with that instead?
Quigley 4x4.
Yeah, hell
Conquer
yeah.
your world.
Sure.
How about look at this?
Ooh, that's pretty slick.
I know, man.
Yeah.
That's kind of pimp.
Dude, what's going? Can you stash your mattress in that roof part, and then as soon as Gab hops in, you just hold on, hun, and you throw that mattress in the back seat,
Yeah, I don't know how that converts there.
like this part here, this top part.
Yeah.
Damn, there we
Oh,
go.
Yeah, look
yeah.
at this shit, dude.
Hell yeah.
I'm liking the big wheels on it, you know?
Yeah.
The off-road nature. Look at that, huh? Look at these things are badass, Mike.
Yeah.
Transit Connect.
Whoa.
Transit
Yeah,
Bob Walters.
you need to get one of these, dude.
Think Gabarra can handle that, right?
Sure. Of course he can.
Now, on to email proper. Nick writes in, Podcast Heroes, I was listening to verse 1007, where Mike was talking about not having the balls to say something to someone who did not lock the stall door, and Mike walked in on them. You recall this discussion, Michael?
Oh, yeah, I do.
I have a story along these lines. I worked in an office a couple years ago where there was a shower for the gym and the restroom for the office. Occasionally, you would hear about a guy who would shower and change with the curtain open. It's just kind of this thing. Like, there's this guy. I don't know who the fuck it is.
Walking amongst us.
One day after lunch, I walked in and saw him just hanging out with the curtain open. On the way out, I reached back, shut the curtain, and just said, "Looks like you forgot to close this, so I'll get it for you." As I'm exiting the bathroom, he yells, "I'd like it open like that, okay?"
What
That's
a
the best.
creep.
That's the best.
I never saw him again. Thanks for all the laughs getting me through my day, says Nick.
That's funny.
You're welcome, Nicholas.
Dude, that sends shivers when because that's happened a few times in my life where I've opened a stall door that someone forgot to lock.
Really?
Yes.
Dude, I guess
And
I'm always looking for feet. Wide stance.
I
usually
know, but
tips it off.
sometimes those kick-ass handicap stalls you just can't see, or it's dark.
Too deep.
It's too deep, and when you do that, it's just like you're so expecting like mine. This is my room
Right.
now, and you open it, and there's just some slob taking a shit, right? And it's just like, oh, you fucking asshole!
Just the most vulnerable position you could possibly be in.
and
There he is.
The look on his face, like, oh no, and it's like, yeah, oh no, look what you did to us.
Let me ask you this: when you do that, because do you like sit in the bathroom still? Because I would walk around the store or wherever I am for like 5
Yeah,
minutes
you gotta
before.
leave.
Like I don't want to see that guy. Like I don't want to be waiting for him. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
But that sucks because you did nothing wrong, man.
I did
you
nothing
know?
wrong.
All of a sudden, you're the victim and you feel bad. Like
I
he
always
says,
look
you got to
too, though,
ditch
having
out of
said
there.
Yeah, now you're shitting in a bush outside the mall because you don't want to make eye contact with the guy. I'm trying to work up the courage and the balls to next time that happens, walk in and just be calm and just stand there and be like, so you proud of the position you've put us in? Really? Are you?
That would be a great response.
Could you imagine?
Yes.
Just like, dude,
proud of this?
you realize what
Here we are. This is awkward, man.
You know, I was minding my own damn business. Coming in here, I did nothing wrong.
Here's the problem.
And look at the position you've put us in.
Here's the problem, dude. I honest to God, there are a lot of stalls in these some of these shitty places that are broken, and I have locked doors before, and no one's walked in necessarily, but I've sat there like 2 or 3 times before on things and been like, I hope no one walks in because
doesn't
this
it
fucking
behoove the shitter to give a courtesy cough?
A
warning cough.
Absolutely.
I always look anyway, though, dude. I always look to
Yeah.
see if there's people in, because I won't even go if there's someone in the entire
Well, aren't
place.
you perfect, E?
No, that's not.
I think you can always hear when a door opens, and then it's
Maybe
just,
there's a PSA in here somewhere for
Maybe.
the shitter and the person entering. I think from both perspectives, I think there's potential.
I think we just shouldn't have multi
Hold on, E.
shitters.
It's too easy when you hear that door open to just go. Like you don't have to be like in here, occupied, don't open the door. But you know, either kind of kick the side of that metal door with your foot, or just
a warning.
I think the shitter should all be separate. I think we should not have stalls. I think they should all be solo things with doors with locks.
Okay, Jesus, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, you should run on that platform.
I will.
Chocolate milk in all water fountains.
Yep, and then solo shitters.
Roberto
Vote
writes
for
in.
Fady.
Roberto writes in, Jay, is there a chance that Mike's story of sex ed is actually Mike misremembering a Monty Python skit? So Mike, of course, remembers sex ed where he believed Mr. Green was absolutely going to bang Mrs.
Conley.
And so
Mrs. Conley was bangable, too. Of all the
Yeah.
teachers that were in that school, Mrs. Conley was the one you'd want.
So leading
have
up to the sex ed day or 2 days, you know it's coming, and you're like, oh, Green and Conley are teaching it. He's going to bang her.
Yeah, the rooms, were, if I remember, were right kind of next to each other. 5th grade teacher, 6th grade teacher. And this, I remember this because it was like the kids that graduated 6th grade. You know, you still knew them. You'd gone to school for 5 years with them. They were just going on to middle school. And so in the summer playground, it was like, oh, big year ahead, fellas. Sex ed next year. It's like, oh,
Mr.
man,
Green
what's
and
that
Mrs.
like?
Conley.
He's like, oh, dude, when Mrs. Conley lays down on that table and Mr. Green is just like fucking pow, pow, pow. And it's like, no way. And back then, you just didn't have the...
Sounds like something Florentine would have told in 6th grade.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
totally. But no, I did not get that from a Monty Python skit.
Okay.
I totally
Well,
remember
interestingly,
that thought.
Roberto points out, I think the 3 of us are all about the same age. So a 5th grader would be about 10 years old, and a kid born in the 74-ish would be in 5th grade in 83, which is when Meaning of Life came out. Meaning of Life, the movie where a room full of schoolboys are taught about sexual congress by their teacher having intercourse with a female teacher in the ornate 4-poster bed set up in the classroom.
Wow.
No, you never seen that?
No, certainly not
There's
at
no
that
chance?
age. Oh, I've probably seen the movie. I don't remember it. I liked the one, It's Just a Flesh Wound. What one was that?
Yeah, that
Holy
was
Grail.
Holy Grail.
Holy
yeah.
Grail.
I think that's
I
probably the
loved-
most known. Honestly, I know I know a lot of people like a lot of them. But
Yeah, that bit. Oh, it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah.
The Black Knight is just
Yep.
chopped. Additionally, kids
African-American night, but yeah.
kids of today have been exposed to quicksand in a recent movie by Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe.
Wow.
The movie called Jungle follows Daniel, a rich college student who gets to take time off to explore the world. He ends up in a shithole Bolivian jungle. All hilarity ensues, and Daniel finds himself stuck armpit deep in a pit of quicksand. The scene was definitely written by a Gen Xer because it had every hallmark of the 80s quicksand horror. It was invisible compared to the surrounding ground. You fall in waist deep first, then every movement sinks you an inch deeper.
Yes,
That was the thing.
totally.
You don't resist it.
Yep.
Don't resist it.
Fight it, you make it worse.
Yeah. And finally, spoiler alert, as we know, the only way out of quicksand is to somehow get a hold of a tiny branch of a tree and pull yourself to safety. Yeah. that
Or a
happens.
rope. Someone comes along with a rope.
Jay, I hope you've got a start on your reading resolution. Yes, my reading resolution of 2018 was to read some classics. I've been stuck in a Steinbeckian groove.
It's not gay at all, but aren't you in a book club or something? I thought
talk about that, Mike.
I thought it's not Oprah's book club.
It's kind of a loose. I wouldn't call it a club.
It's more than one person, and these people trade ideas and thoughts about what books to be read. It sounds like a classic example of a book club.
Okay, here's the deal. Me and listener Wolfie have exchanged some ideas about books, okay? Some thoughts about books we've read.
Book club. So is this Jay's book club? Is this Wolfie's book club? What are we doing?
I have Wolfie to thank for pushing me to read East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Excellent book.
I don't want to do this show with him anymore at this point.
Wolfie, if you're listening, I'm currently stuck in
Did you guys meet, like-
Hemingway's a call to arms.
Where's the meeting? Did you guys meet at his place, your place? Did you guys sit in those little chairs?
It
and
happens
discuss the
typically
books?
via email, Mike.
Yeah. Did you guys discuss the books? What
Yeah,
you
no,
liked and what you didn't like about it?
We show up at a coffee shop in berets, scarves.
With monocles. Good to see you, sir. Wolfie, how are you?
No. Yeah, so let's save the rest for tomorrow, Mike. We've
Very
run
good.
long.
We need to peel the onion more on this book club, too, as time goes on.
Sure.
All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging with us today. Thank you to Jim Florentine being a guest on the show, and J. Chris Newberg as well. Everybody is awful except you is Florentine's book. Go get it. You'll like it. Get it in our bookstore. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll do one more show this week, so we'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.